Hi, my name's Richard, and at this point I would normally say from Richard's Guitars, because that's what, if you're watching this for the first time, chances are there's no content on this channel yet, and you've probably seen me in my day job, my life, my world of guitar sales, something I've been doing since I was 22, and I'm now 49. So it's really dominated my adult life. It's what I consider it my life, beyond my family and my three children I now have. And but throughout this period, it's become more and more clear to anyone looking outside in, and I've made it kind of clear myself whenever it's been relevant, that I suffer from chronic anxiety. It's something I've had all my life, since literally my earliest memories are filled with anxiety and thoughts of anxiety, and since I've been doing YouTube videos on my Richard's Guitars, it's made it more clear that I have this obvious issue, because when I'm suffering with my anxiety, I don't want to be doing videos. The thing about myself, and the reason why I wanted to do this channel, is because on my guitar channel, I don't want to keep talking about this side of my personality, and I don't want it to define me in terms of people. I don't want anxiety to be something that I have to keep talking about on my guitar channel. But when I am suffering with anxiety, I feel dishonest, because I don't want to be pretending I'm feeling something I'm not. And the whole point of my guitar channel is to be enthusiastic, to be loving what I'm doing, and to be excited about what I'm showing you. But if inside I'm completely full of another feeling, it feels very fake to be. It's pretentious. There's a pretense or a pretend scenario going on that doesn't make me feel good. So what I realized was I could do two channels, and one will be my outlet to discuss all the anxiety issues. And really, I'm hoping, I have a lot of excitement about this thing that potentially is quite a crippling, or it can be crippling, let's call it a disease. We can talk about that too. Is it a disease? Is it not? But I think I have a lot to offer, and I think there's a lot I can bring to other people who are watching, whatever age. I have three children, two of them which suffer quite badly with anxiety and different types of anxiety, which as a parent now I'm helping them, and actually I have one child that helps me, because she's doing psychology at A level, and so it's really, there's a lot of positives that can be pulled from this thing, and I know there's an enormous amount of positives in my life and what's channeled my life and what I've created in the past, positives that come with the anxiety. Quite often people who are anxious have lots of positive things that they're bringing to the world, and depression, some of the greatest comedians, the greatest sufferers inside, and it's something that one thing I always think of is I've never really met someone who suffers with anxiety who's kind of rude and sort of nasty. I think generally we're quite sensitive souls and we're generally people pleasers, aren't we? So I think a lot of anxiety sufferers are people that just want to be happy, want to make others happy. Again, this is a big generalization. I'm sure there's some real buggers out there that suffer from anxiety who are releasing it in other ways. But I think generally we're people pleasers, we're nice people, and we just want to kind of get comfort and calm in our lives. And what I want to do with this channel is talk to you. There's various sections of this. I've been suffering, as I say, from my earliest memory, and I can see it in if you like decades, in time periods. So my early infancy, my early school years, junior level, up to the age of say 10, I was suffering very badly with the fear of the future, fear of parents dying, fear of the world coming to an end, fear of wars, and what they can do, separation anxiety, not wanting to leave home, not wanting to go to school. So I went through that period. We can talk about that. When I then went to, there's various stages through my high school years, points where things improved, and I could talk about why and how. And I think these are things that I could help parents watch out for, and things that maybe parents can observe through me, and learn and see signs for their children, and make sure their children are getting a few of these balances that help them through their high school. I now have 2 children that are homeschooled, so we could talk about that too. The pros and cons of, we don't call it homeschooling, I think we call it home education, because it's no longer school. School is a concept and it's a construct that fits some, but home education is also hugely liberating and has so many exciting and wonderful things for children that it suits. So we could talk about that. I then went on to have Hodgkin's disease at the age of, I progressed to having Hodgkin's disease at the age of 20 or 19. So at the age of 19, I had Hodgkin's disease. Went through radiotherapy, chemotherapy. There were periods of time where, it was clear that I may not live, I may not survive that. And this is a whole topic and area of conversation that I think there's so many interesting, it's a sensitive subject, but it is incredible how the mind and the brain works to make people strong, as we call it. And I'd love to talk about that, and how in adversity or near death, the body has this mechanism for surviving and for looking after you. And that's a really important point that connects to many things that I want to talk about in future videos. So that was that experience for a few years. That took me out of education, out of university. I then progressed with a view to wanting to have my own. I've always wanted to have my own business, and so this takes me now into the kind of early 20s to 30s. So it was all about forming my own business. So much to be proud of, so much to talk to you about in terms of the creative side, and how anxiety, a lot of what I do and a lot of what has driven me has been side by side with anxiety, and you could call it nervous energy, and a drive to succeed, a drive to be doing something. And again, I think it's a personality trait that sometimes does go along with people who are anxious. I'd like to talk about that, and but the thing that it then became was a lack of acceptance of what I'd achieved, and a lack of being able to praise myself. And I've been very guilty of not ever sitting back, taking stock and going, you know what, Rich, well done, you've done a really good job. And there's nothing wrong with feeling like you've done a good job and praising yourself, because it's something that I've always had a lot of difficulty doing. Even now, if someone says they watch my videos, I kind of squirm and feel really awkward. Even though I've done the videos and I've wanted people to watch the videos, but if someone says, yeah, I love the video, or I love this, or I did that, even me saying to you now that someone said they loved it, I feel, conceited, and he's full of his own. So I have a real awkwardness with praise, even though I want to be praised. It's a really crazy dynamic going on there. I want to be loved and liked, but when someone says they love or like me, I feel very awkward. So we can talk about that kind of stuff. But with my old business, I never, and I say my old business because I had a business that I closed down with depression, and I had a breakdown. And my comment was to my wife at the time, when I die, I don't want it just to say, ran a great guitar shop. So that's kind of how little value I gave myself. Even though at the time, by the time I was 30, I had no children. I had money, and this is something else I'd love to talk to you about. Money, wealth, how we consider wealth, what is being rich. Is it rich? What do we consider rich? We tend to think of money, but I'd like to talk about life, fulfillment, peace, serenity. This is the greatest rich, the riches of life that I'd like to talk about, which I've come to learn and value an awful lot. And I think children has done that in many regards. At the time, I had money, I had wealth, I had a nice house. My wife had bought me a snooker. I'd always wanted a snooker table. I had a snooker table, a proper big one, but I was just I just wasn't. Nothing was satisfying, and nothing was. I love my wife, and always have. We met when we were teenagers, and I've been with my wife ever since. And she's been I look at her as my kind of side by side. We are one person in my mind, and so she's took me through and got me through my illnesses, Hodgkin's disease, and my depressions, my anxieties, and there's a whole subject. The connection of needing. It's not probably a great thing that I need this crutch. Before Tracy, it was probably my mom. So we could talk about that, and there's so much we can talk about. But I had a breakdown and closed the business. I was bankrupt. There was a project I was involved in, which was incredible and an amazing project I was doing. Which again, I have to sort of give myself some praise for what we were doing, but it was costing me a lot of money. But because I just couldn't work anymore, I couldn't function. I had to become bankrupt, and so we can talk about bankruptcy. I'd like to talk to you about that and that phase in my life, and then rebuilding and starting at Richard's Guitars, however many years ago it was, 15 years ago, and now throughout all of this, I've been, I've had to have medication. I've learnt techniques, coping mechanisms, lots of philosophy, life skills, and I love talking to other people about these types of things. And there's nothing, I feel as though if I hadn't been doing this, and if I'd been any good at school, maybe I'd have been a therapist or something, because I love helping people. And actually, my work that I do at Richard's Guitars, I just consider as it's kind of like therapy for people. It's helping people, making people happy, and I just want to kind of make people happy with what I'm doing, and I'm hoping these videos are going to give something back for what I've been through, my experiences. So I think I've been through enough experiences in my life. I have 3 children, sort of. Chronic illness, near death. I've had depression, breakdowns, anxiety, running a business, and a successful business, a business I absolutely love, and something that this is my baby. Everything that I do at work is just an extension of me trying to be as balanced and calm and happiness. I know happiness is something we're all trying to strive for, but actually really I think we need to be looking for some peace and tranquility as much as happiness itself. So anyway, if I haven't completely bored you to death, I don't know what I meant to say in my first video, but that's kind of an overview of and I will make my videos, I will break it down into sort of either philosophical kind of things or statements of, I'll make sure the videos are clearly explaining what I want to talk to you about on that day. And I hope I can help someone. And if you put some comments in the video and just say if there's anything you want me to talk about or anything you want me to share, and I'll try and help. And hopefully we can sort of get through all this together. Okay, well, I hope you're going to stay interested, and please subscribe if you want to hear more. Okay, cheers then. Okay, bye bye for now.